This is the Live Well and Thrive podcast, hosted by Michael Torchia, health and wellness expert. It's time to shape up, America.
Hi, this is Mike Torchia. Welcome to Live Well and Thrive. I have a great guest today. You're going to love him. His name is Marc Zuckerman, but they call him Zuck, right?
Yng Zuck.
Yng Zuck. He has pursued the music industry, and he was inspired by a documentary of Justin Bieber. This is what really kind of triggered it.
I would say, yeah. That and my parents' love for music.
Great. So now, where did you come from? What state did you come?
I came from Pennsylvania.
Wow, and you came out specifically for the music.
Yeah, specifically for music, social media, and modeling, I would say. But I kind of diverted into the other two through music. But yeah, I came out here specifically for music.
Now, how old were you when you figured out, hey, I got something going here, voice or talent to write or play an instrument?
I feel like, I started playing instruments when I was like 6. I started on the guitar. I started, picking up instruments, and then I kind of went into saxophone when I was younger. But I didn't really feel like I knew that I wanted to do music until I was probably in college. I would say maybe like 5 or 6 years ago. I had a couple songs that started doing really well, and then I realized like, okay, I can actually do this. Like, this isn't just like something that I think that I can do. And there was like the time when like music was, super popping and people were blowing up off of like applications on the internet, and I just was posting my music to a free website, and then all of a sudden one day it hit.
Wow.
Yeah, it hit.
That's awesome. Now you also write music.
I do. Yeah, I write all my own stuff.
Fantastic.
Recently, I've kind of been working with some more camps, which is like something very new for me, and I was kind of against doing that, but now I started to start working with more like writing camps to help, bring ideas that I didn't really think were possible at first, and now, I started doing that. But that's just recently. Everything I have out now and everything that I've done, though, is all stuff that I've written.
And what would you say your style of music is?
Say it's like very urban pop 40, like top 40 pop, but like a little bit of like hip hop and maybe a little bit of rock. It's just kind of like, I would say very like urban top 40.
Do you do any rap?
I don't rap. I would say it's very like kind of like singing, like
Okay.
almost like if I had to compare myself to an artist, I would say like very more like Justin Bieber or like maybe like a Kid Laroi or Machine Gun Kelly, but like
Nice.
a little bit like more like urban, and not so much like pop. Like kind of they're like more pop. I would say it's a little bit more urban.
So do you have goals to be like that rock star? What are your dreams?
Yeah, so like I feel like in the industry, a lot of people always ask me like, "Oh, you want to be a rapper?" And my first response is always like, "No, I don't want to be a rapper. Like I'd much rather be a rock star than a rapper all day."
Sure.
But yeah, my careers and my some goals is just like I have a stadium in my hometown, so I've always wanted to like go back there one day and sell it out, and that would be like super hitting home, I feel like, for me. But yeah, I feel like as far as the industry, I don't want to be like labeled in as like one thing. I feel like I'm very universal. I feel like I could go on all aspects, and I like all aspects of music, so I feel like I don't want to be labeled in, rappers, they have like kind of just a rap, but this is only what they're doing. I want to be something that everybody can relate to, more like a universal figure.
You remind me of Keith Urban. I traveled with Keith for his world tour. I trained him throughout the whole tour.
Amazing.
And when people would come up to him and say they loved his country music, he goes, "I'm not country. I'm a whole nother level."
Yeah.
But he said it would very polite.
Yeah, exactly.
But he didn't want to be stereotyped or put in that box.
Exactly.
He had the same attitude. Listen, I just want to make beautiful music.
Exactly, yeah.
And, man, he was a badass guitarist.
He is. He's a fire. He is a great musician.
Beautiful soul, man. But he just, when he gets up on the stage, man, and he's like me, sure, but when he gets on the stage, he looks like he's like, got energy like that King Kong had, It's like, wow. And his voice is just magnificent. But he has that it factor.
Yeah.
And what I noticed about you when we met at that event, you have that it factor.
Appreciate it.
Now, listen, people can have skill set, play an instrument, can sing, but the it factor, like Madonna.
Yeah.
She had the it factor.
Yeah.
Many of the Elvis had the it factor. It's like not something you could just create, and that's why I felt like, man, you just need a little bit of a push and a springboard and be in front of the right people because it's going to happen. Because when you walk in a room, you got that vibe, and you got the chops to back it up, and you write your own music.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the ticket.
Yeah.
The fact you write your own music, that's huge because the money's in publishing.
It is, yeah. Especially I could write a song in 30 minutes if I really, I'm inspired like that. I've done it before, so no, but yeah, I feel like in the business, like you gotta stand out. I feel like, and I feel like it's like a platter just waiting to be served. I've been waiting. My dad always told me, preparation builds for opportunity. So I feel like I've been putting in a lot of preparation and waiting for the opportunity to, be able to see myself in the masses on a whole nother level of what I've done already. I felt like, I've barely scratched the surface of my career and things that I've done and, lives that I impacted. And so I feel like preparation is built for opportunity, and, I'm gonna keep preparing until that.
How does your parents feel about what you're doing? They must be so proud of you.
Love it, yeah. My parents are super, super cool people, like super down to earth. My dad had me when he was real young, like younger than me, so like we like kind of like connect on like a different level of like, he's like my pops, but we talk about like super normal, like everyday things, like he's like one of my friends. So
that's great.
Yeah, and they love music. My parents are such like big music. They travel all over the country to go see like Grateful Dead. They love the Fish, the Doors, like Pink Floyd, like all that kind of like old school rock type of music.
Yeah, my days.
They go everywhere. They go literally everywhere. They bought an RV just so they could go to like camping shows and camp out and hang out, and they're like super into that music scene, and they've always been since like the 80s.
Were they also into
90s
playing instruments and singing too?
Not any instruments or singing, which is like weird, because I thought like, oh, maybe that's where I got my talent from, but I really don't know where. I feel like I don't know anybody in my family that even really does anything. Like me, I have a cousin who does some screenwriting and like movie producing, but other than that, my family is like not anywhere in this realm of like doing this business. So I try and explain things to them, and like doesn't make sense like to them, or like they're like, oh, you got to get a real job and do this, and like they just kind of don't understand everything. And I try and explain it to them, and then they try and lecture me about this and that. It's like, okay, well, you're just trying to be my parents, but
well, the people can't help to do that shit to people.
Yeah,
but that's okay because you break through it. Look at Sylvester Stallone with Rocky.
Yeah,
he didn't give up. In fact, he wrote the script in 30 days.
Yeah.
Okay. And he insisted that he play that role when they didn't want him to play that role. But he stuck with his guns, and look where he is today.
Yeah.
A lot of people that are very successful, they stuck to their guns. I mean, like when I was bodybuilding, people were like, you want to be a bodybuilder? You're short, you're fat, you have horrible genetics. But I ended up becoming teenage Mr. New York State, teenage Mr. America, Mr. Collegiate USA, Mr. California, all these Mr. Southern America.
Mm-hmm.
I won these championships. So if I ever listened to those idiots that said I couldn't do it, I wouldn't be here today doing what I do now.
Yeah.
But I showed them because I was driven. And sometimes you use that as your fuel. The negativity, you flip it, you turn it around, lemons and lemonade, and that's why I tell people, man, don't listen to the naysayers. Stay away from them. Don't, even when I met Arnold, I was 15 years old, he goes, he called me Little Kroger, he just like, anybody tell you, he's crazy, lifting weights, stay away from them. I don't care if it's your mother and father or your aunt and uncle, your best friend, it's no longer your friend. Never accept someone that belittles you or doesn't believe in you. And that's how I navigated through my career. I stayed away from the people. I don't need that negative shit in my head.
Yeah.
I just, because how it can affect you after a while.
It does, yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So that's why I know that you just get in front of the right people and do what you do best, sing and play your instrument and write your music.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of time.
Yeah,
not if, it's just when.
Yeah,
right?
That's what I be telling myself. I'm just, trying to walk the line. I feel like a lot of people get out of line. You just got to wait your turn, especially in the business. once you kind of fall off that waiting your turn, the next person just the line. It's like a line. It's like a queue. You know, the next person comes right back up. You fall off of waiting the line, walking the line, doing the right things, and there's someone else who's just gonna replace you.
Yeah, because somebody
Snap
else
of a
might be
finger.
hungrier than you, right?
Exactly. Every day there's people.
But you know, also too, I find that if you get creative, like we went to that little event, a little bullshit event, but you and I met.
Yeah, absolutely.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So whenever there's an event, I go.
Yeah. So am I.
Because you never know. I tell people, talk to, especially in LA, you're in a bank, or you're at the cleaners online, or Coffee Bean. Talk to everybody. A guy could be head of a publishing company.
Yeah.
For music.
Literally.
Right? You never know, especially in this town, because people dress so casual. You don't even know if
and
they're
especially having a genuine conversation too, like just being very genuine. You know, I feel like a lot of people out here are very like not genuine. I'm from the East Coast too, so like, you know, I've only moved out to LA 2.5 years ago. So like my growing up over there and then to coming over here is like day and night different. Like people where I'm from, like they don't fuck with you, they don't like you. Like they're very adamant to tell you like. You know, it's very clear. Here, it's kind of like you're on a fish on a hook. You know, they might not like you, but they're going to juice, you know, they'll squeeze the juice. They'll juice you for everything that you got or whatever they want. There, it's very like, kind of like, you know, no cookie cutter. Here, it's like, I don't know, it's very different atmosphere different. Here. So, you know, just being genuine, I feel like that's kind of one of the biggest things I met out here. Why I've, you know, met a lot of people and done some of the things I've done is just being genuine, and like a lot of people can like see that, you know, like I'm not trying to be something that I'm not. I'm not trying to fake, you know, anything. Like I'm not here for all that.
No, so you're just being real. Like I remember,
I just feel like just keeping it real is like one of the biggest things too.
You know, Madonna used to train at the gym where I train, Pumping Iron in New York City, and I got to tell you something. She trained really hard. I mean, she had a magnificent physique. She had like a bodybuilding physique when she first started. And she was going to all the clubs. She was giving the DJs her cassette tapes to play her music. She made her career. She became a rock star because she was unstoppable. And so you have that same drive. And that's what it's going to take. You know, like your idol here, Justin, and many others that you look up to. They just didn't stop, and they were like this, and fuck everybody, and just focus, you know? I remember this guy reaches out to me, messages me on Facebook, and he goes, man, you came a long way from working the door at Oliver's. I was a bouncer at a bar, and I was just this big guy, because at them I was really big, and this guy, remember, I was just that nice guy that bounced at the bar. And he said, man, I can't believe all the stuff you've been doing with your life. Because I hadn't seen this guy maybe, it was like 48 years ago. I was like when I was 20, man. I was a big guy at the door. So you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You never know where your life journey takes you. But I was unstoppable.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't anything going to stop me. I'm going to do what I want to do. Even my father thought I was nuts. Hey, you're going to be a gym bum. I didn't listen. But my mother was a supportive one. Yeah. You see, so she helped give me that push, that direction. Yeah. That's why I'm saying, man, keep that fire in your belly, man. Keep it going, and just, like you said, be real, be good to people.
Yep.
Because, you know, there's people like, yeah, let's do lunch. You know what I do? I go, when?
Yeah.
Because otherwise that call's not going to happen. You're not going to do the lunch.
Yeah, literally.
So what day you want to do it? Let's make plans now. That's how I am. But that's kind of a New York attitude I have. Like, you're from what? Pennsylvania, yeah, right? So we have that East Coast attitude.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't bullshit me. If you don't want to have lunch with me, don't say you don't have lunch and we don't do lunch, right?
That's what I'm saying.
But that's what I'm saying.
Don't waste my time.
If you cut right to it and they say, yeah, let's do it. Let's make those plans, right? When I told you I was going to help you, I meant it.
Yeah.
I don't get on the red carpet and say, oh, yeah, I'm going to help you. No, I do what I say.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you keep doing what you say, people are going to go, this motherfucker's real.
Yeah, that's why I want to, like, even just in business, I know people that I'm friends with, like, you know, they'll get stuff, won't respond for, like, 5 hours. Man, if I have someone who texts me, I'm going to respond right away. Like, you say, hey, Mark, send me over this stuff. Okay, that's the first thing I did. 5 minutes later, I'll send it.
No, you were solid. You were solid. And you send me right away.
Yeah, people need to be on, I feel like they're just not on top of their business. You know, they want to, you know, people forget, like, it's 90% business. And that's one thing my parents did instill in me is, you know, very business mindset, and they forced me to go to school and graduate
Right.
college. So like I feel like I'm very like business minded on the fact that I went to school for entertainment management and got a minor in business. And my
Wow.
dad is very like almost CEO of his company. He's very like business. All he knows is like the business part of it. So I felt like this whole industry is really 90% business. You could have some talent. You might not have no talent at all. I've met a lot of people, you know, which I will never name names, but who I'm
Yeah.
like, you know, sitting in the building, and I'm like, man, how is this person doing what he's doing? But he's got good business. And if you got good business, no matter what, you're going to succeed.
Yeah, for sure.
So-
Hey, I got to ask your opinion. What do you think about this AI that's now they're being used to make music? Like, for instance, the last Beatles song that came out, Now and Then,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Paul McCartney and Ringo teamed up together because it was just a demo, an old demo they had.
Mm-hmm.
Man, they made it into beautiful music. Beautiful
Yeah.
piece. I love that song. But a lot of it was modified to be created from AI. So what's your, as an artist and a hardworking young artist, how do you feel that people are now doing all kinds of things with AI when it's maybe really not them singing? The AI is kind of improving the quality of their voice. What is your opinion on AI?
I mean, I feel like, you know, that's one of those things, like, as we get into a generation, you know, you're always going to have to advance with technology. So it's one of those things where I feel like, I don't know, I'm not really worried maybe too much as an artist, because I feel like real music is always going to maybe, I'm not saying that's not real music, but I feel like, you know, I feel like there's always going to be a spot for, like, you know, the old school way of, to be honest, I don't really know. I never really had that much experience with, like, personally, with, like, AI. I don't know too much about, like, maybe I could see it helping, like, songwriting. Like, that would be cool. You know, maybe it gives you some ideas, you know, maybe as far as, like, songwriting. But, you know, I guess as an artist, like, I'm a little bit worried that maybe it would take over the business. But at the same time, I feel like just, like, I don't think anything will ever be able to take away or replace
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
music like that, especially, like, you know, knowing that, oh, this isn't the real person. Like, this isn't, like, they did that experiment before with that rapper that they made, that, like, AI rapper. And, like, he, like, popped off for a second. But then, like, all the hype kind of died.
Well, it's like
once-
Vanilla Ice from
Yeah, you
lip
know,
syncing and
like,
shit. Yeah, it's not like
so,
the
like,
real.
it's just, like, you know, it was there for a second. They're like, oh, this is different. And then it's like, oh, okay. But, you know, I don't know.
But you know what's so funny is I used to go to the recording studio when Paul Anka was doing his thing, and they had a really, I can't say the name of the artist, very big artist, and the voice was a little off, a little cracking, you know?
Yeah.
So he goes, watch this. So then he made some adjustments.
Sounded beautiful.
Sounded beautiful.
Of course.
So what AI does today is through a computer system.
Yeah.
When a producer's at the board, he's doing the same shit. Seriously.
In a sense, yeah.
You know, he's smoothing it out.
Yeah, you know, he was
You know,
mixing
the
it,
special
making it,
mic, you know.
making it fire,
right?
you know, putting this
So,
little sauce in it.
I don't have a problem if they're polishing up a song. But if you start, like, say, hey,
Like, yeah, I'm talking about, like, more in a sense, like, you know, they want to Taylor Swift, they just wrote these lyrics and then they auto-generated Taylor Swift's voice. Like, that, I don't. But, yeah, I mean, as far as, like, maybe polishing, you know, that's the same thing as,
Yeah.
like, mixing a
yeah,
song. I'm not going to sit here and, you know, I don't know any artist, too, nowadays that doesn't record and doesn't put some sort of, like, reverb or mix or, you know, some sort of, like, delay or equalizer or auto. Everyone records with some sort of, like, you know, maybe not with the vocal on the vocal track, but when they're mixing it, everything you hear nowadays has some sort of preset and some sort
Yeah.
of, you know, channel EQ, and, you know, it's running through a live mix, everything. I've never seen an artist that has gone into something that just, maybe back in the day, but, like, just gone and put something dry, like,
Yeah.
and then put it. I've never in my whole life have I seen it.
yeah.
Like, besides, like, a cover, but, like, a real song, no, I've never seen it.
Well, that's good because I think, like you said, it's a tool to use,
Yeah.
polish, but not to replace.
Exactly. It's only supposed to add. It's like, you know, it's not like the main course, but it's the seasoning. It's, you know, the stuff that makes the meal fire. You got what you need for the, you know, you might have the chicken, but chicken with no salt. You know what I mean?
No
like,
flavor,
you know, you're just eating chicken then. So you gotta put a little bit of something on it.
You know, my buddy Frank Stallone, he performs. He does everything from rock and roll, big band, I mean, you name it. And when he performs, he does a routine where he welcomes everybody to the show.
Mm-hmm.
He tells them, I'm going to have a few sets of songs that I think you're going to really love, but before each song, I'm going to tell you what I was thinking when I first wrote the song. So before the song starts, he talks about how he had this relationship that went south or whatever. So when you hear the song, you really connect and you listen to the words.
Great crowd engagement.
So I notice with a lot of performers, when they kind of tell you a little bit of a story, I think when you're a storyteller, it adds more personal to it, you know what I mean?
Makes you more relatable. I feel like that's, you know, we're all about music is being very relatable in a sense that, you know, like if people can relate to your story or relate to what you're talking about, you know, people are going to be, you know, it's like a magnet. They're going to be attracted to it more because they, you know, they could say, hey, I feel the same way. I went through this. Oh, I know what he's talking about.
I mean, look at Taylor Swift. She puts her songs together with breakup descriptions and other things from. So whenever she breaks up with someone, there's probably after this football player, she's gonna do a song for him too.
Of course.
But it's so funny is because all those young girls love it.
Oh, they love it.
You know, especially the guy that
and what
didn't treat
girls
you right.
and what girls love, guys love. That's just a fact. So if you got a lot of females, you got females all over you. Just guys are gonna love it too because wherever girls are, guys are. That's just a fact. Guys will love what girls love just because they want girls. That's just how guys think.
So tell me something. Now that you know you're right at the cusp of really breaking out to the top, you know, are you concerned about all this Me Too stuff and what's see? When I was dating, it was different. We didn't have all this shit.
Yeah.
A lot of rules now. Now, how do you feel about all this Me Too? Being a young man, I wanted a young man's opinion.
Yeah.
How do you feel about what the guidelines are supposedly being? Does that bother you?
No, I feel like at a young age I was very like instilled in like treating women with respect from my pops, especially like I remember one instance in my life where I was like a young kid. My dad like disciplined me. If I was acting out, like I got smacked, like for sure. One time, like I remember I called my mom a bitch. And I was like probably like 9, 10 years old, and I just like always remember this day like forever. I will always remember this day forever because I just got punished for doing that. So I feel like, you know, even just me, like I just am a respectable dude. I'm a nice dude. Like I feel like, you know, I have my fun and I've been around the block and, you know, I've gone and done out, but I've never like, I can honestly, you know, hands down, never say that I've like felt like I've ever been in a situation where I've put somebody like uncomfortable or, you know, I'll never.
Well, but here's the thing: is it's not that
or like
anything...
even like that. Just like I mean, like so I feel like, you know, as far as like I respect like women and like, you know, I feel like there's a lot of stuff going on and like as a musician too, like kind of relating back to that, it's scary in the sense that like, you know, I know people whose whole careers have been ruined because they have had things said about them that hasn't been true. And, you know, 2 years later, I mean, one of my favorite artists that I opened up for on a show here in LA when I first moved out here to LA, he had some rape accusations, unfortunately, against him, which were proven to be not true. But for 2 years, you know, his whole career was over. And he was at the top of his career, you know, 500 million streams on Spotify he was sitting at, you know, like, so I feel like as an artist and even just anybody in the limelight of things, whether you're like an actor or a football player, you know, like there's that risk that you could take that, you know, you never really know what some person's like intentions are. You know, you might think that, oh, I'm just having a night of fun with somebody and, you know, that night of fun comes back to ruin the rest of your life, even though you never really did anything. So like I always kind of have that in the back of my mind, but I do take that into consideration, you know, when I do go and I meet people and I, you know, I'm choosing them to, you know, let them into my personal space. And, you know, I mean, you never really know people's intentions, but, you know, I try and, you know, be a little bit more weary to that and be like, hey, you know, let me be, you know, on the lookout and see. And also just like pregnancies out here in LA, you know, a lot of girls are just looking to catch a quick bag, or they know what you got going on, and they're gonna do anything to get that money. So,
Well, the reason I brought it up is because look at Sean Combs,
Yeah.
Steven Tyler,
yeah,
and you got to be so cool because here you are, you just finished a concert, you had a couple cocktails, you're feeling good, girls bum rush the dressing room,
of course,
and you think everything's cool. But you got to be cool today, man. You don't know how old they are.
exactly.
Fake IDs.
All that shit.
Because you
got to
watch your career, man, because you just need that one. That one. Now, who would think 33 years later some woman's going to claim something that Steven Tyler did? He probably was so high on drugs, he didn't remember who the fuck she is, right?
Yeah, in the 1980s after a show, like selling out 40,000, you know what I mean?
Right, so that's
it's
why
one
I'm
of those
bringing this
things.
up.
Exactly, it is.
You're
it's
a
one of those
smart
things
guy.
you have to think about because, like, you never really know, and, like, you don't know people's
You don't know their intentions.
And yeah, and exactly. And there's a lot of people that unfortunately do have a lot of shitty things that happen to them. And, my condolences to everyone that, has gone through a bad experience like that when people have gone through, shit.
And I feel bad for the victims, don't get me
for
wrong.
sure.
But when it's a legitimate situation.
Yeah.
But that's why I know that your head's together, man.
Yeah, no,
Because I was
got
bringing
to.
it up because you got to be careful.
Got to.
Sometimes people have an agenda, and you get sucked into it,
Nope.
and you're high from the occasion. You always got to be thinking ahead.
Next steps. You got to think 5 steps ahead.
Because it's your career.
Exactly.
You have to focus on who you associate with, too, because that's how they judge you.
Yeah, exactly. If you have someone bad in your circle, I kind of was in that situation with a bad manager before when I first moved out to LA, and didn't scare business away from me, but I feel like a lot of people maybe associated me with this person, even though that wasn't like nothing to do with me in the sense of what that person had going on, but just because I was around them, like, oh yeah, let me put him in this box of this is what he's got going on too. So,
well, you're gonna do really well. I'm gonna thank you for coming on and sharing your journey with us.
Yeah, of course.
And
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Man, I know that it's just a matter of time with you because your parents did a great job bringing you up, instill the right things in your head about life, not just about what to do with your career. And I wish you the best of luck, and I'm going to keep watching you.
Yeah,
I
appreciate it.
Yeah,
lots of stuff coming out. We got so much stuff in the works, lots of shows in LA, and we've been all over the place. And
that's great.
Been working with some dope producers and some really cool writers, and lots of stuff.
Right.
Lots of stuff in the works right now. And I go live. I do live shows every single day on TikTok Live.
Oh, nice.
About 3-4 hours a day I live stream, and I do all original songs. Sometimes I do some covers, unreleased songs, but every day I do live performances. So, like, yeah, I feel like
Awesome.
Lots of stuff out there. So
I'll be watching.
yeah, stay tuned.
Well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I appreciate your support, so please, if you can, subscribe. Thanks for watching the show. Oh, man, great job.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Thank you.